Okay, Nick and Andy, this is a big one. Champions League phase is kicking off again. Really excited for this. And let's preview and give a prediction for Bayern Munich against Chelsea. I mean, Nick, it's a big deal for Chelsea back in the Champions League. Of course, they won the FIFA Club World Cup this summer. But they face a very tough trip, don't they, in their opening game away to the German champs, Bayern Munich. This is going to be a really good test to see where they're at under Enzo Maresca. What are your thoughts on this one, mate?
Yeah, it is a really good test. It's the first time they'll be tested, obviously, outside of the Premier League, really, since what we saw during the summer. And I think the difference here is probably going to be that Bayern is at home, and that Bayern is really functioning fairly well right now against a Chelsea team. And I know we're going to discuss this, that has some questions about what they're doing at the back, at least from what we saw at the weekend.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it, Andy? I mean, injury issues, bit of form. Maresca rotated a bit against Brentford, and that backfired, I guess, a little bit with that late equaliser that they coughed up. I mean, is it weird? Is it almost like a bit too much rotation for Chelsea at the moment? They have so many options, but then also at the back, they don't have as many options, and they're trying to keep guys fresh and not lose any other key players. But I guess that is the problem area for Chelsea so far this season.
Yeah, and I think we've known that, right? Obviously, when the Levi Colwill injury happened right before the start of the season, it was, incredibly bad timing and unfortunate for him. But he was really important to them and the way that they played and their ability to bring the ball out of the back and be able to play it on the ground, and having just one center back who's really good at that distribution, can hit those multiple line passes. That really is a game changer, I think, in the modern game, because teams are pressing so much these days. And when you've got someone that can play out there, it's huge. I think we also expected this just based on the way that they've operated in the transfer window the last couple of years. It's attacking player after attacking player after attacking player. And at some point, the squad just becomes so incredibly imbalanced that you run into situations like this. And so Maresca's going to have to get, I think, a little bit creative. He's already played Wesley Fofana as a bit of a right back, which is interesting to say. That we saw Pep do something similar over the weekend as well, and so maybe that's the new trend coming in. But Maresca is going to have to really put in some hard work on the training pitch this week to get them ready to not give up another 5 or 6 to Bayern, which is what they've done in 2 of their league games so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, obviously we'll talk about Bayern as well, but Cole Palmer being back, Nick, is huge for Chelsea. He came on against Brentford, scored, and just looked the part straight away, didn't he? And obviously he is kind of nursing that injury, and they're just gently easing him back in. But really excited to see him be a big figure in the Champions League, because obviously, beforehand when he was at City, he was kind of just a bit part player, and now this is a new stage for him to shine on, one would think.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at them, and I actually think the Brentford match is, I don't want to say write-offable, but when I think about it, they rotated because this is going to be their, like every team, right? It's going to be their first 3-match week. And they tried Hato on one side with Fofana, as you mentioned, on the other side. And at halftime, they realized, wow, Marc Cucurella is way more important to us than we thought. Reece James and Malo Gusto are, honestly, they were saving 3 fullbacks for Bayern in a sense. And the other difference was Palmer. And that was an injury-related thing. But I guess I want to give some grace. I don't know how long Palmer's going to be able to go against Bayern. So I'll withhold judgment about even how they do in that game, because he is almost certainly, along with Caicedo, their most important player. But also I expect them to be a lot better, because whether it's Cucurella and Gusto, or Cucurella and the other guy I just mentioned, who I'm blanking on, Reece James, this team I think they're very good. And Sanchez has been a lot better as well. So how much they get out of Palmer and how much he shines in this game, I guess I'm going to want to give them a little bit of leeway, because man, did he change the game, but he also only had a few minutes in him.
Yeah, and what I like about it is that there's a lot of Chelsea players in this team, Andy, that you look around and you're like, oh, they actually haven't played in the Champions League before, or if they did, it's kind of, again, like Palmer a bit part. So it's a new experience. I think kind of like the Club World Cup. They're going to be really up for it and fresh and new and young. So, yeah, really excited to see how they take to this. And Maresca as well, because there's a step up for him as a manager playing against some of these super clubs. Talking to super clubs, super striker, Harry Edward Kane. I mean, he's the main man for Bayern once again. Just sensational, right? Third season now at Bayern. Started off like he always does, scoring goals for club and country this season. Obviously, he's the main man, but so many other attacking pieces they have that complement him, and it all works very, very nicely. And Vincent Kompany, won the title last year. Yes, Champions League is the big one for Bayern. What do you think of them? Do you still think the balance maybe is just off a little bit for Bayern, maybe a bit top heavy in terms of attack?
Yeah, but I think with any super team, it's always going to be that way. When a team dominates their domestic league the way that Bayern do, the way that PSG do, it's you go into Europe, it's always going to be about how well can they balance the two? Can they keep the ball out of their own net, and not come at the expense of scoring the way that they have done so far in the league this season? Guys, am I wrong for being a little annoyed that it took Harry Kane going to Bayern for everybody to finally come around and say, "Oh, this guy's pretty brilliant. He's pretty good." There's a lot of Spurs fans that were saying it for years and years and years, and because he was at Spurs, it was, do it at a real club, whatever. I am a little bit annoyed about that. Speaking of Premier League connections, Luis Diaz has been really good so far for Bayern, and I know like the general consensus around that transfer was, why? What are Bayern doing at this point for a player at that age and at that price point? And all he's done is come in 3 goals, 2 assists in 3 league games so far. Everybody's padding their stats for Bayern so far this season, of course. But yeah, I do think at some point this season, or I guess in his tenure, not even this year, Vincent Kompany is going to have to build a defense, and you would think that would be right up his alley given the position he played as a player, but it was a huge problem when he was at Burnley, obviously, and he goes to Bayern, and you just have such an advantage there. I am curious to see long term, what he can do in that part of the field.
I want to make a separate question with Kompany, and it's in a way different direction, and obviously he has a lot to prove here still, but there's a chance that he's got a little bit of that Zinedine Zidane magic where he has been in the wars, so to speak, more recently enough that he walks into a super team like that and they respect him, right? And so he has enough of a tactical mind, but maybe this is more about keeping those egos in line, something that he probably did with attackers when he was this. I think there is a potential for him to have a breakout party in this tournament. And if I'm not just this game, so Chelsea fans, I'm not dogging on you. I might want to circle them as a potential favorite to win the tournament.
Wow, that's big talk, Nick. Obviously, they've some key players missing through injury. Musiala is out, but you got Gnabry, Luis Diaz, Michael Elise behind Harry Kane there. And then, you just got Nicholas Jackson playing against Chelsea just a week or two after leaving them, and he's eligible to play in this game. So wouldn't that be something to see him, just show Maresca and co.
Red card coming. Red card incoming.
Probably. So prediction time. Prediction incoming. For me, I'm going to go, don't know why I'm doing this, 3-2 to Bayern Munich. I think it's going to be a bit chaos, and given defensively where both teams are at, in my opinion, I think there's going to be goals galore. Andy?
You read my mind, Joe. I think there's going to be goals in this one. I don't think either team at this point of the season has a true idea of how to, control a game and to slow it down and to, see a game off. And so I think it'll be a little bit chaotic. And as the opening round of the Champions League should be, right?
Yeah, love it. Nick, what are you going for, mate?
Have we ever had a trifecta? Maybe I'll knock it down a little. I'll say 2-1. Because I was only thinking 3-2 because you guys said it. So 2-1 was my initial call. And I guess I'll give a little bit more to the keepers to keep this in check.
And it feels like Harry Kane usually scores against Chelsea. So I'm sure, he'll probably be on the score sheet once again. All right, head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest on Bayern Munich against Chelsea. Big game in the opening round of the league phase of the UEFA Champions League. Cannot wait to watch this one.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long, and for even more Premier League content from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.